Hey there. I wanted to share this story with you because I think this story matters. And I think this conversation matters. I think what I have to share in regards to how I got away, what happened, how we can be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically, the power of presence, compassion, and surrender, and how we can really navigate these tough emotions and tough thoughts that come up in our lives through situations that we don't have control over. So I'll tell you what happened. I was running on a trail by myself in broad daylight in Bonita, and it was my first time at this trail. I know that this happened for me and for others. Like in my heart, I just know that that's true. I procrastinated all day to go on my run, and that usually does not happen. I procrastinated all day. And, also let me just add, better me than somebody who would have not screamed or got away, or somebody who wouldn't use their voice to bring awareness to this. So I'm really grateful, and I'm really grateful that I'm here. So anyways, I passed him originally. I passed him about 2 minutes into my run, and he was he was walking very casually. He had brown pants and a hoodie on, and he was wearing a mask, just like everybody's wearing those masks. My first thought, as soon as I crossed him, he wasn't doing anything super weird or anything, but as soon as I crossed him, I thought to myself, if somebody attacks me right now, I have no way of identifying them because everybody's wearing a mask. My second thought was, I should probably tell someone where I am because this is my first time running this trail. I should send somebody my location. I had those thoughts. And I was like, I'll be fine. I ignored my intuition. I'll be fine. So about a minute and a half after I pass him, I make a left into this, what looks like a trail, and it was a dead end. So he must have followed me and saw that I went in there, and as soon as I turned around, he had a gun pointed directly at my face and told me to get down on the ground. And I was in shock. I was like, what? Part of me was like, is this a joke? And because I was just in shock, and then he comes closer and he says, get on the ground. And he cocks the gun back at me after saying it 3 times because I didn't get on the ground. So he does that. I get on the ground. He tells me to turn around. And I turn around, but I look back, and he has one gun pointed at my head, one hand with the gun pointed at my head. The other hand he's attempting to take his pants off. And I was just like, fuck this. And I was just like, this is not about to happen right now. And I yelled help as loud as I could, and I ran at the same exact time. I think it happened at the same time. And I look back, and he's running away, and I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs. So he runs into the dead end. I don't see him. I run as fast as I can to be in open space towards the street. I call 911 right away. They have a helicopter out. They couldn't find him. Here's my point in sharing the story. There's a couple points to it. Yes, I'm very angry, and I'm sad, and I cry a lot, and I'm navigating my emotions, I feel like, in a really healthy way. I feel like I have a really healthy perspective on all of this. There's a couple points I really want to drive home. Number one, male violence against women is a real thing. And there are predators out there, and there are prey out there. And it's important for us not to live in fear, but to be prepared mentally, emotionally, physically for situations in our life that happen that we don't have any control over. And be prepared. What that means is be prepared to show up with courage anytime you can. And hey, no judgment if something like that has happened to you and you let it happen, like, I don't know why it just came to me to yell and scream. I could have very naturally went the other way, and I can see how I could have let that happen. No judgment at all. But here's why I feel this message needs to be shared is, number one, we need to stay vigilant. We need to stay aware of our surroundings. We need to tell people where we are if we feel unsafe. For any reason, you have to listen to that, okay? And number three, you have to report this. You have to report these things happening, because that's how change happens. Even I was assaulted about 3 years ago in Miami. A guy picked me up, threw me on the ground, and I couldn't move my shoulder for months. Okay, that case is dropped. I'm pursuing that. We have to let our voice be heard and stop these people, because these people are sick. Okay, I know at my core, at the end of the day, hurt people hurt people. And that's just a reality, is that hurt people, and there are sick people out there. And it's not the majority, but it's some of them. And I think being mentally and emotionally prepared is one thing. Being physically prepared is another. Learning self-defense, I'll admit I don't have that yet. And this is a big slap in the face and a wake-up call. Also, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. I talked to a couple of different deputies that night, and they're like, good thing you didn't try to, I don't think pepper spray would have saved it. I don't think a knife, I don't think a gun would have saved it. This is not a place to put your opinions on about guns. I don't want to hear it. I don't think that this is something that would have saved it. I think one thing that could have alleviated the situation and alleviated further situations is a really powerful taser. So if you're looking for a way to stay protected, a taser makes sense. Make sure that you read the reviews before you purchase it. I don't recommend buying the $10 one, because if you read the reviews, you'll see that it's not that powerful. I think that, let me tell you what's helping me navigate this in a really mindful way, okay? Presence, compassion, and surrender. So I'm getting flashbacks like every minute of every day. Every day since Friday, I just get flashbacks all day. And here's what I do. I'm present. Okay, so that means a couple of things. Number one, I'm present with the flashback. I'm present with my emotion that comes up during the flashbacks. I'm present with my emotions that come up when I feel emotional and I'm crying. And when I have a flashback, I know that fear comes up, or anger, or a sense of being scared and shocked. I'm still really shocked. And it's sort of this big elephant in the room that I can't really move forward with you guys until I acknowledge that this happened, because it's real life. This shit is real. You can't escape it sometimes. You can't escape life, and you can't escape life happening, at the end of the day, this is my life unfolding in front of me. And this is nature sort of taking its course. If we just look at this in a really simple way, this is life happening. And I'm open to seeing where this takes me and where this takes you. And hopefully this inspires you to speak up, and share this message with somebody who needs to hear it, somebody who runs alone, somebody who might not be prepared, somebody who maybe lives in La La Land like I have for a long time, still do, I'm fine, nothing will happen to me, I'm invincible. We just need to be aware. I don't want this to spread fear. I want this to spread awareness to the power that we have to speak up and have a voice. And you can scream and you can try to get away. You can do your very best, okay? So presence, when I realize I'm in the present moment, I realize I'm okay. So if you're navigating tough emotions right now, there's a lot of power in the present moment. And I'll never forget reading about a scientist who was studying this leaf in the art of presence. And he was able to see the life that came before the moment that he saw the leaf. He was able to see the life that was happening while observing the leaf, and he was able to see the life that happened after the leaf, when the leaf was passing, right, transitioning. And I think it's important to look at our life from a whole perspective and seeing it all at the same time and realizing this is a small glimpse of my whole entire life. And this happened for a reason. This happened so that I mean, one thing I'm really learning is how to navigate my emotions at an even deeper level. Here's where compassion and surrender come into play. Number one, I'm surrendered. Like, I'm open to life unfolding in front of me. I know that change brings beauty, and I know that to be true every single time. Change brings beautiful things, and I just know that. And you have to know that for yourself and for me. I know there's a lot of people out there like sending me love, and I appreciate it so much. Every message matters to me, and thank you for that, by the way. Compassion. So, meeting my emotions with compassion. This goes with navigating tough emotions. You know, I'm not in a place where I've forgiven this person who attacked me, but I am in a place where I realize the compassion that's necessary for me to be okay. I realize that this person is sick and has their own you have to be in a really dark place to do something like that, to attempt to do something like that. And I realize that this person hasn't been healed from their own mind. Being someone who, I mean, this is different but similar, being someone who I have bipolar and I have been depressed several times in my life. I know that your mind can be a really dark place sometimes, and I'm not validating this. What I'm saying is there's really practical, I look at it with practicality that there's people that are sick out there, and I have compassion for them being sick and not getting help. And I want to explain really quick. I want to do a class on this. Let me know if you're interested about navigating tough emotions. So when I have a flashback, I know that that's a part of my mind telling me something. There's a very mechanical thing happening, but I also know there's an intelligence there. I also know that my emotions hold intelligence, and there is information there for me. Now, when you push, what you resist persists. When you're pushing away your tough emotions, you're not giving them a voice. When you push away your tough emotions and your tough thoughts, the ones you don't want to accept, when you just blanket it over with gratitude or changing your state, like I believe in all of that, but you're never really dealing with what's happening in the moment. That's presence, right? Like, be present with what's happening. So there's a story of the Buddha inviting this dark presence in for tea, right? Come, sit, have some tea. When fear comes up, when sadness comes up, when shock comes up, I invite that part of me, right? I think, I'm coming out with an ebook of the 7 pillars of radical self-love, and it's about accepting all of these different parts of ourselves that are trying to communicate with us, right? And it's about nurturing those parts of us that are screaming for our attention. If you have a strong thought or a strong emotion, like, that's information for you, and I suggest you be present with that, because I have found my own answers in being present with really tough emotions. And sometimes that means me being angry, sometimes that means bawling out of control, but you know what? I move through that with compassion. I let my emotions have a voice. I invite them in for tea. I'm not trying to push away this fear or this anxiety. Like, I'm like, okay, come on in. What do you have to show me? I'm feeling called to do a class on that. If you feel interested in a class on navigating your tough emotions with compassion, I'd be happy to host that. And I just want to lead you. I actually feel like singing a song. This song's been stuck in my head for a couple weeks, actually. It invites this idea of trust and compassion. I trust where my life is taking me. I trust where my life is taking me. That doesn't mean I'm not mad and angry and sad and having a hard time. I am having a hard time, but I'm moving through it. I'm with it, right? I'm with it. I'm not pushing it away. And I know that there's answers. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Speak up. Surrender to where life is taking you. Tag somebody who needs to hear this message. I'm sending you all of my love. We are all divinely guided and protected at all times. We are protected. There is a very strong force of love that surrounds this world and surrounds us, and it's time for us to tap into that. At your core, you are love, and you can show yourself love by having compassion with your emotions and awareness to your presence in life.